and from how she spoke, how she presented. Okay, from how she spoke, how she presented herself, it was obvious to everybody that, oh, this person, she actually knows what she's doing. And that was why she started getting calls from other people to saying, ah, can you represent me in so and so matter? So she was competent. She actually knew the thing. So it's not just about showing up, and you don't know anything. So that's what I felt. Like the first thing is about competence. So in our own little capacity, we should keep on learning and learning and learning. And then after that, show up. Like when you start showing up, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just come up with the little thing you know. You keep on putting in your 2 cents. Abi, is it 5 cents? So then after that, the second thing that really stood out to me personally as a person is that if you really want to grow, if you really want to expand your, you want to like spread your reach, like in this modern day, you have to utilize the web, you have to utilize social media. So why it stood out to me was that me personally, I do not like the internet. Like I am so happy in my corner of the world, like with people, my friends in the present. I'm so happy. Like I don't like social media. Anytime I enter Twitter, 5 minutes, I'm angry because I'm like, all of you are ododos and everybody just so negative, in my opinion, in these spaces. So I don't like it. But what I learned from the book was that it's not really about your personal opinion that oh it's negative, yada yada yada. It's a tool for you to use. You have to learn how to use it to push your own business, to push your own ideas. So ignore, you have to ignore, like it's a strategic plan. It's not like put your emotions aside. It's just like when you're at school, studying is difficult, but you have to do it. So when you realize that okay, social media is necessary, then you have to look for a way to use it in a way to push your push your business or push your ideas out there so you can get people to engage with you. So there are people who their algorithms is to show them maybe only Christian content because that's the only thing they engage with and that kind of stuff. So shall I just push your emotions aside? That's what I learned personally. Push your emotions aside and do what you have to do. You have to shall be on social media to an extent at least. So that was the second thing I learned. Then I also learned that what thing I learned. Sha, the book was like the woman was very. I wasn't so happy at first because like, this man is talking a lot, like, but it's like those kind of truths that you just have to swallow. Because me, I've been running away from this whole social media kenny, but now, it's like inevitable. And I was thinking about how can I utilize my presence, not even utilize because I have zero presence. How can I start like how can I like come on LinkedIn? How can I and start making small posts and all? So it's something I'm really actively working on that okay, how do I start going about it? So I think that's what I learned. Then when you come on these spaces, you have to watch people who are putting out content that's similar to what you want to put out. What you want to put out. If you're a lawyer, seek out lawyers and see the kind of content they're putting out, the kind of engagement they're having. Not to copy them because everybody's different. So it's your different personality that's going to make you stand out. You know the way they say be yourself. So you being yourself is what's going to make you different and what's going to make people engage in your content differently. So that's what I really learned. That I think those are the main points that really stood out to me.
Let me clap for
So
her, please.
thank you
I
so
like the
much.
way you actually articulated it, and you captured a lot. You
Thank you.
actually captured a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that review. Is there any other person that would like to speak? Don't let me call names. Just volunteer yourself. Give us one thing that stood out to you and one thing that you learned. Let's do it quickly.
Sorry, please, can you recap? I didn't get what you said.
Okay, so I was saying that who else would like to speak and say something they learned um when they were reading the book? Yeah, gift. Since you are muted, you should speak now. Shebi, have you read this book? Do you make it rain?
I'm not done. I'm not done. But I
Okay, so
want
for
every
what
other what?
Or what you've like read so far, just something that stood out to you.
Hmm. Okay, I would like to speak maybe last. I would like other people. Let me be a gentleman. Let ladies go first.
Is when you see this man, it's when you want to avoid the responsibility. It's not like when you see the downfall and there's a lady at the park and you're late for work, you say, let me stand up, let this lady sit
No,
down
I
first.
can. I do that. I do that. Let the ladies go first. I'll share my thoughts.
All right, no problem. Shaya, welcome. The floor is yours if you want to speak, and Tife as well. And I don't know why it's like when you people KBD people push Priscilla and Joba out of the call. So but I'm here. I'm listening. I don't know if Shaya, can you speak? Tife, can you? No, actually, Ketu can go.
I'm sorry. Good evening. everyone. Are you okay? Yeah. If I could share what I learned from the book, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So far, I'm still on it. So far, what I've learned is there are some basic things that's for me. Like I wrote something that's your personal brand. Like this book is literally like what to what could help you to showcase yourself, to showcase what you have to the world. Like most of us that are not really a social media person like this, that will find it difficult to showcase ourselves on the internet. So it's like a book that stood out for me. Like I'm still learning, I'm still reading, but there's something that I've learned so far. Like your personal brand should confirm who you are and what you represent as an individual. So you can't like to me this is like you don't have to do copy and paste. You may like have some people that you look up to like as mentors, and according to that person that spoke, she said that you should follow what's in your niche, what people are like what they talk about. You should like it's like you knowing what your audience want, what is actually about your niche. And another one is that that's stuff from like we can usually use social media for our benefits as so like everyone needs to be on the net to basically for connection and to let people know who you are and so okay. And then it's like it's help you to be open to some opportunities.
Yeah.
So it's in help you to build some healthy relationships. So that's all. And it's position you to it's give you some position that align to your goals, and so that's all. That's some things I
Thank you so much. So the interesting thing about this book, I read this book like maybe 4 or 5 months ago. And after I read this book, I started making some strategic moves. Some of you that follow me on LinkedIn might have observed. The moment I started positioning very heavily into what I do was after I read this book. It was like it unscrewed a button in my head, like, okay, I can do this branding thing better. I'd been doing well, but I could even take it a step ahead. And some interesting thing happened this month. In fact, I had to voice out to a friend. I told my friend, I said, I have this visibility. I can't explain it. The very people that I was targeting, they just started following me. Like I've been targeting founders as CEOs because those are the people that I've been speaking to in my content. And then I observed at the point that if 5 people follow me in a day, 3 of them will be CEOs or founders. I started getting very interesting DMs, questions. Oh, now there's some people that I'm offering to do like legal audit for their companies and things like that. And it all came from positioning rightly on social media. So, in fact, I wasn't expecting that this book was going to be the second read. And just to confirm what hey, You're going to pardon me today like this. Ojewe said, right? When I read the book, I also didn't find it as easiest book to read. You know, there are books. I feel like there are books that when everybody finds it easy to read, you can feel it in the book. There will be this energy level and everything. It was not like make your bed. It's not like what book did we all find excitement reading? Some books are hard to read, especially when they are more narrowed down. When the books are focused on a particular niche, they could be very hard. And this book is particularly on branding, so it's not like a general life story. So it could be a bit hard, especially if you're not someone that really thought about branding in the past. And I brought this up because even on my own personal journey, I realized that branding is the most important thing you can do in this generation. See, we're in an era where AI can replace you. We're in an era where there are threats in every way. The only one thing that you can get right that changes everything now is your branding and your visibility. There are too many people in the market, like for you to be in obscurity, right? There are too many people competing for the same jobs, for the same skills that you have, for you to be in obscurity. So, like, the biggest advantage that you have right now is actually in your branding. So that's why I take branding very personal, right? And when you start taking branding very personal, you'll be seeing shifts. You'll be seeing shifts in the market just for you, right? So that's why, like, that's why I particularly recommended that book, because I said, everybody should, take this very personal. And some of the things that she said that in that book that really touched me was the fact that for me now, I also gave up Instagram and X and the likes like that because I don't like them. So I focused on only LinkedIn. And when she made that point that, you see, you can't say because you don't like a particular social media, you stop showing up. Your reach is supposed to be everywhere. And then there should be a consistency. All your names, if they search you on LinkedIn, same name. If they search you on Instagram, same name. Consistency across board. Because some people might not look for you on LinkedIn, they might look for you on Twitter. Some people might not look for you on Twitter, they will look for you. Like, so be very visible across all social media pages. It might start with one, but ensure that at least, even if it's once a week, because I started reading follow-up books on that, and they're like, okay, even if it is maybe, let's say, on Instagram, you show up once, at least just keep showing up. And I have to place some tools in place to ensure that I'm visible everywhere. Now, another issue that we have sometimes, and I think that that's even the beginning part of everything for me, is when it comes to this conversation around branding, we're always focused on the external things that we are doing, like content, like posting on social media. But there's an internal part of branding, and that's the part I like to focus on a lot. The question is, who are you? In fact, that's the question that branding is asking. Who exactly are you? What are your values? What do you stand for? One of the things I've done for myself this year, I know some values at like the back of my hand. I was telling somebody that if I am offered a job, like if like a company that is not making some particular amount in revenue approaches me right now and say they want to give me a job, I'll turn it down. Because I've become, like, my values, the kind of things I'm aiming for, I'm so sure of it now, even way than when I started. Because I have to say, for me now, when I started initially, I had as my values, which was diligence, honesty, and loyalty. I'm heavy on those three things. But now they've shifted a bit more. Now I call them the 4S and 2Es. I have structure, system, sustainability, simplicity, execution, and excellence as my watchword. Meaning these are the things that guide my life. So anything that I'm doing, I'm always asking myself, is this structured? Is this simple enough? Like, I don't want something that the process is too cumbersome. I'm not here for how stressful the process is. The simpler it is, the better. Is it structured? Is it sustainable? And if you look at the basic the principles behind TBC, you will see that we have a structure, we have a system. It is a sustainable system that doesn't make anybody burn out. Initially we used to register through Google Form. Then after Google Form, now it was too stressful. We have to simplify it, right? Excellence is also another part of our watchword. We have systems, we structure things, we are excellent, and then execution. We just don't say that we are doing this thing. We are showing up. There are a lot of people that tell me that they are in different book clubs. They just draw book, no follow up. But see people that have been following up every day, and even we're not having a monthly meeting. So that's the power of branding. It's identity. And when you have that identity in everything you do, you carry that identity into it. So when you are showing up on LinkedIn, what am I showing up as? I'm showing up as structured. I'm showing up as systemic. I'm showing up as like a sustainable person. I think in a sustainable way, I'm showing up with simplicity, I'm showing up with excellence, I'm showing up with execution. Those are the things. They keep anything that you are doing, they keep ringing. So in branding, it's first going back to ask, who am I? And the interesting thing is that you will not figure it out at once. The more you go in your journey, if some of you remember when I started learning, I started as a labor lawyer. I was always talking about labor law issues. But the more I saw the labor law space, I realized, okay, I don't really find it as exciting. So I said, okay, it was too restricting. Let me turn it into business law as a whole, right? And with my knowledge of labor law, that still helps. Now, I position myself as a business lawyer, and I'm attracting the audience that I want. So that's systemic thinking. That's shifting. That's positioning. And the more I position, the more I'm seeing more and more of that. So you wouldn't start up like figuring out everything that you want to say in your brand. But the more you understand it, the more you keep shifting. And there's some particular videos I've watched that just confirm some of the things that she said, right? And also ensuring that whatever content is that you're putting out there mirrors who you are, right? I know these days I've been all about Pella on my status because I've been finding it very amusing. But normally we won't even do that. The things that I find valuable, like my books, my law stuff, that's most of the things that you see on my status. That's what you should be about, your business, your thinking. You can't just be having a status that just focus on the entertainment part of your life alone. Let people know what you do, what you stand for, what your brand is. Those are very important things that you must not joke with. So there's a lot of things to think about and do. And please don't let this book be just the reading part, because to be honest, when it comes to branding and showing up on social media, it's hard work. It is actually hard work. It is intensely hard work. And this is what I always say. It's so funny that a lot of us here, if they tell us that we should deliver a task by 10 p.m. this night, we'll make it work. But when it comes to our own life, the life that is your own, uniquely yours, we struggle to deliver. Like, this is the one thing that if you do right, can actually change your life. Not another person's business. But because nobody is forcing you to do it, you don't do it. If the way most people say they hate social media, if they get the social media manager's job today, they will do it well. They will deliver content. They will use ChatGPT. They will do, and this is the era where you don't have any excuse not to show up. You have enough AI tools at your tips. Like the last video that I did for YouTube, I literally was reading from the AI scripts I generated. AI will generate. I have newsletter. AI writes everything for me. I just used to, in fact, I'm so lazy with AI that I literally just want to do voice notes. I'm like, hey, ChatGPT, I want to write a letter. I want to write my newsletter. I already have a particular email thread that I use. And I already said, so I use Substack. And I post every Monday by 6 p.m. So what I'll do is that I will go and meet ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT what I want to write about. He writes it. I schedule it on Substack. 6 p.m. you get my newsletter. I'm not, there's some post that you'll be getting 3 weeks after. I've written it 3 weeks before that time. So even some of my LinkedIn posts, I don't like to schedule on LinkedIn because I've found that if you schedule on LinkedIn, it doesn't perform well. LinkedIn likes when you post it at that time. So sometimes I schedule some of them, then I know if it's like a few minutes before that time, I'll go and tell it to post it instantly. But I already have it written out. I've designed especially my Monday post. I take my Monday or Tuesday post very serious. So I have at least 1 or 2 serious posts about what I do every week, right? For the video content, what I did was I created a long video that I put on YouTube, then I started cutting it. So now, I already have everything cut in a particular share drive. So those cut videos on every Tuesday, they go on TikTok and Instagram. They're automated. The only thing I've not really been able to automate as much is my X. And it's because I don't even know where to start. And I'm hoping to take a course on it and maybe optimize it as well. Right? I may not get as much people from Instagram and all of that yet, because LinkedIn is my main focus. But at least I'm showing up there. If they go and search absolutely on their TikTok, on their Instagram, they will still see me there. Do you get? So that's the power of branding, and I hope that we don't just do it, for the sake of just reading alone, but we actually practicalize some of these things. You're a professional, at least most of us here are professional. Even if you're a student, even if you're already whatever job is you're a professional. Position as one. Talk about the things you do at work. We don't know who is watching. The person that reached out to me, one CEO that reached out to me, I think 2 weeks ago, even me, I was baffled. I was like, okay, this is high level. This is way too high level for me. And all. And we were talking like we're friends because he was asking me questions. I was returning it back to him. Like I was even giving them business strategy back on that call because I have spoken about it a lot and people now trust the voice, right? In addition to this book, there are also some other books that I can recommend. I'll just some of them on the group that if you read in addition, you really understand branding very well and begin to position. But everything I've said still boils back to one thing: branding is an intentional thing, and it doesn't end on what you position on social media. It's also what your friends will say about you. If you say that you're an excellent person on social media, your friends will not even call you excellent, then you don't have a brand. So branding is not just I'm an HR professional. Branding is not just I'm a lawyer. Branding is your values. What, like, if people see your work rate, can they see consistency? If people see your work rate, can they see excellence and things like that? So that's I'm very passionate about the branding topic. So that's just in summary, about the book for me as well. I don't know if Gift is ready to talk now before we round up the call.
Mine, oh my. You said a lot. I know, in fact, with most of the things that you said, I don't think there's a point for me to still read again. The ones that like the pages that are left for me to catch up with, because you typically summarize this book. Well, what I will just say briefly, I'm going to be very brief, right? So before jumping on that particular book, I used to be this person that I just want to be a ghost. I don't like, posting. I don't like putting my pictures out there. Then, 10 minutes into the book, and I'm seeing so many advantages that I'm seeing reward, for being out there. I mean, the branding and all of that. When you take your brand seriously, you just attract the kind of people that you want. And there's a lot that you can do with, attracting people. You can do a lot of things with that. You can do a lot of things. You can create um what's the word now? You can create your own community with, that um by doing so. So it changed my perspective, honestly. And I've been keeping up, I've been posting on LinkedIn, been trying to do that. And another thing is, it's more like a journey. Like you don't just, in our local parlance, the word blow, you don't blow overnight. So you don't just start the process and all of a sudden you are everywhere. No. So it's a journey, and you also need to do the right thing. I remember reading one part of the book and it was talking about practice, right? So you need to understand your audience, you need to understand your niche, and another thing, you need to look up to a particular person, a particular brand that you want to replicate. So you may not exactly replicate what that person is doing, but just use that person as a guide so you won't make so many mistakes. And that has also helped me streamline my own search. Now I know the kind of people I will follow so I can get inside. And it's also talked about the use of hashtags. Yeah. So I also learned that for you to go far, for you to reach out to a lot of people. So you need to understand the use of hashtag very, very well. So you need to understand the use of hashtag by knowing what's trending. I think it provided some websites where you can go and check that up, see what's trending in your own niche, then you can use that as well. I mean, it works like magic. Sometimes when I post job, when I maybe just do my posting on LinkedIn and I'm not getting the traction that I want. So what I do, I hashtag with trending captions, and it works like magic. I get the kind of traction I want. And yeah, I'm also trying to embrace what you said about you may not like other social media platform, but you don't have a choice. You need to just show up. And I'm trying. I mean, I've gone to download Facebook again because I deleted that app and I'm not present there any longer. So I'm trying. I've downloaded it. I've recovered my password and all of that. So I'll start posting there, and let's see what's waiting for us at the end of the spectrum. So that's just my take, basically. And I will try to cover up the other pages that is remaining for me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's my
Uh-huh.
take.
I'm blushing. Thank you. And what you said also triggered some things for me. So I want to talk about community a bit, right? One of the best things you can do for yourself as a professional is to join communities that are like in line with what you do. One of the things that I've been spending money on heavily this year has been community. You don't want to even believe how much I'm paying to join certain communities. I joined Forbes BLK. See, I don't even know what they do there. My own child, I'm there. I'm trying to join Wimbies. I'm part of the Wimbies community for women in law, but the Wimbies as a whole too is also the community I'm looking at joining. And I will tell you that one of the things that accelerated my growth the most last year was actually the Wimbies community I joined, because I had almost 1,000 followers from that community. In fact, there's a webinar I organized around, was it November, October last year? In fact, don't let me say half. Let me say 80% of the people that joined that paid masterclass was from that Wimbies community. And there was a book I was reading recently too that was talking about the fact that community, actually, you see this WhatsApp community that some of us will be inside WhatsApp community, they'll be talking, you will not see anything there. It's some of your best bets. Just being in a group chat and you're contributing, especially if it's a class in your niche. So find group chat that HR professionals are in Nigeria, if you're an HR person. If it is a lawyer, find group chat that lawyers are plenty. Shall be choking out conversion anywhere you can put mouth, network. It really goes a long way. Personally, most of my posts, I put it on in my MBA course set, I put it on group chats, and actually from there I get a lot of tractions. So communities really help. And there was something she said in her book again. She was like, oh, when you are posting, don't see it as I'm just here to post. The funny thing is that it's your engagement that really determines the influence you have. So if you are posting on, let's say, LinkedIn, and people are giving comments, you don't respond. Over time, people realize that you're actually snobbish. And nobody likes to be snubbed. If people are giving valuable contribution to some of the things that you said, respond to them. Thank you that you found it useful. And that's why when it comes to social media building, it's not shere work. It is not, just see it as you're actually communicating with people that have like minds with you. So you are going there with that mindset. It is a conversation. And LinkedIn, one of the things that sell the most on LinkedIn is when you are engaging. It's not even that you are posting. So I've posted, yes, that's one side of the work. Then other people that's why she said, look up, if you have a mentor. So let's say that your mentor posted something. You will now go there and say, it's true. So this is my own opinion too. Sure, you understand. If you keep, there's some people that I knew them from comment sessions because they were so consistent in a particular person's comment section. I'll go and look them up. Okay, who are you? Before you know, they follow me back and we build a rapport from there. So it's also important that you actually have that follow-up, that it's not just, it is a conversation. It's not just me, I'm talking and all of you must listen. It is, I am talking and I'm listening to what you are saying. Sometimes in your conversation, you will learn new things. In the comment sections, people will even tell you their pain points. There are even some posts that are supposed to actually be about questions. What do you guys think? I've seen HR ask questions like that. Candidates, would you like to be hearing feedback if it did not pick you? They'll say yes, they'll say no. And everybody's giving their points. It makes people feel closer to you. And with time, you see that you start developing friendships from this app. I have a lot of friends from LinkedIn. I have a lot of friends from Instagram, right? That's how community works. It's supposed to be that. And one thing I've learned the most in this journey of branding is, and something that Jermaine said, Jermaine is an influencer guy. He's one of the authors I would recommend that we read from as well. He said that influence is not that you have a lot of people, because branding is actually influence, right? He said it's not that you have a lot of people that follow you. It is that you have one person that if you tell this one person to buy this thing, they will buy it because you said so. And I'm and Augusta were having that conversation today. We're talking about, she was talking about how she influenced most of her friends to be buying skincare products. Why? Because they see the way her skin is, they see the way she takes her whole skincare thing, and she takes it very, very well. For me, a lot of people that read books, they read because of me. In fact, my DM sometimes people just come and say, "Oh, I read a particular book and you were the one that influenced me." That is influence. So people are you're already building a niche around it that okay, you talk about books a lot on your status, and because of you, I have been prompted to read a particular book. So when people see books, you come to their mind. That's the power of branding. So community. In fact, if there's any point I would give anybody about branding, I'll say build a community around everything you are doing. If there's a particular area of interest that you have, I think gift. I see you do this all this kind of I don't know whether it's HR, maybe it's recruitment tailored, but if you don't have a WhatsApp group where you collect all this information, please create one where you actually have a WhatsApp community for everybody that joins any of your sessions. Let them be joining that WhatsApp community. I have one for graduate training. I have, apart from TBC now, I have one for graduate training. I also have another one for branding too. I've not really worked on that one, but I have a branding community. That's aside all my other MBA communities that I am a part of. And WinBiz is a law one. So community, build it. You must have your own personal one. You must join the one that other people have created to contribute, ask questions, follow them. Shall be disturbing them. It's a nice place to be. Then the second thing you spoke about that I just wanted to expatiate on a bit, you spoke about the journey. In this branding thing, let's not be result focused. Let's actually focus on the journey. It won't yield result. And the funny thing is that when your results start coming in, it will be as if you use soup. All the effort of 5 months, you can get it in 1 week. Because even LinkedIn is funny. I've not had viral post in almost a year now that I've been posting. But just this month I had a viral post that did almost 5,000 plus. So all my growth and all this while I've been through consistency, not viral posts. I've been showing up regardless. There are some days I'll have 50 views, I'll still show up. There are days I have 1,000 views, I still show up. Nothing stops. I don't even care. If I've gone to a point in my life, I don't even care whether you read it or not. I'm sure showing up is my own. I've made a commitment to myself. And what's important to me is that I'm showing up, I am connecting, and I'm engaging, right? And I show up even maybe based on my energy level. Some weeks I'm tired, I show up once. The weeks I'm energized, I show up 5 times. Just showing up, focusing on the journey, not just the reward. Because if you are there for the reward, you get frustrated. If you are doing branding because if I brand, I'll make more money, it won't really be like that. Branding is a deep and it's a long-term thing. When you are talking, one of the people that I was referencing, Jamin, that just did 10 years, he's doing his 10 years anniversary. He has about 100K followers on YouTube, right? This guy has been doing this since when he was in uni. And I remember I was on 100 level, I was in 200 level there. He has been doing it since uni days. It took him 10 years to build 100K followers on YouTube. So you just can't wake up and say, I want to blow on YouTube and you want to do it in a year. Consistently, you keep showing up. You show up to the point that even the people that don't believe in you start believing in you. Where this girl, her energy level is different, right? So that's just it. I think that Make Your Brain was such a beautiful book. I recommend it over and over and over again for anybody that wants to do anything on brand. And I think one last part of that book, the part of the book that actually was more interesting to me the most was the part on press release, like how to submit your this thing to that, newspaper will be interviewing you. Because actually I did a newspaper interview once. Oh, I've forgotten what newspaper it was. And like all this, getting, how some people when they talk, Instablog Niger carries it and everything. That's one of the things that is one of my goals for the year as well, to have this kind of coverage, because it goes a long way, right, in the brand that you are building. Atineke, I don't know if you want to see anything. I think it's just your voice I've not heard this night. Before we then close up. I don't know if you are speaking, Atineke. We can't hear you. Okay, I don't know whether it's negative or we can't seem to hear Atineke. All right. So that's just going to be the end of our session tonight. So Shayo, just some discussion. And please let me.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes, we can hear you now. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I had issues with my Bluetooth. Yes, so I would like to make a contribution. I'm not done with the book yet, but the little I have read has been really inspiring for me. So I learned about the intentionality, in terms of branding. So it's not something you just wake up to. It requires some level of work, you know, in being intentional about, your brand. Consistency is also very important. It's something you have to do over time. Like Abisola was talking, and then she made mention of having posting every Mondays or Tuesday. So that's an example of being consistent, right? In terms of building a brand, being known. You don't want to be someone that will show up for this week and then they don't see you again. And then after a while, you just show up again. Does not even show any sign of seriousness. So I learned that. And then aside from, being intentional and being consistent when you're building a brand, there's also the part of having the right competencies and skills, right? So I mean, the writer spoke about how she was just maybe offering her own legal service, and somehow she was on her to come and talk about it, and she had her first, and that was what led to a major outbreak. All right. And then, so for me, preparedness is also very important. Like Abisola was also saying that a lot of people are more concerned or get carried away with, the outward look, and not focusing on building or investing in themselves. So ability to also ensure that, you are getting better on whatever niche you do, or whatever skills or career space you find yourself. Being the best at what you do is very important. If you are known for just recruitment, I mean, do it excellently. Know everything about it, everything far and wide. Know everything. If you do just maybe training, for instance, if you do just fashion, be known for it is very important, and then be well vested, and then invest in training yourself and developing the right competency, so that when opportunities come, you won't just be an empty barrel. You also have something valuable to give out. It's also important. Then she also talked about the part of, looking. There's a way you also look the part. She talked about a friend who is a chef and was having a book launch, and then even the for everything about the book launch was saying something else, and then they couldn't even get the meat of why they had the book launch. From the book coverage, there was a different image. So, so there's just a way to be known for something, and then you also show up in that part. Personal branding as well is also very important. Then one thing that really stood out for me was when she talked about experts, right? When you say, oh, somebody is an XYZ is an expert in this area, it's not like they really know anything outside, or they are extraordinary people in that sense. These are just people that have learned how to leverage media presence, right? And then they've also built and developed themselves. That is where you say, oh, this person is an expert in this field, right? So when you say someone is an expert, I really learned that there's really nothing, it's not like they're extraordinary. In fact, most of those people we think are expert, there's nothing they're really saying or something they know. Sometimes some people even know things more than those experts that we assumed, right? But we know someone as expert because we see them on national TV come to talk about some things, and then we feel like, oh, this person is known for this, right? So personally, for me, I've always been the type that I try to shy away from social media, right? I could be very to myself. I don't want people to know what's happening about me. I just keep to myself. I just don't want people to. I just don't want to be in the face of people, right? But then I've also learned that if you want to really go do great things, you can't always do it within your cycle, just within your own comfort zone. You have to, if you want to really move things and you want to be a rain shaker, like we have to look for the opportunity out there. You have to put yourself out there. You have to invest in yourself. You have to build a brand and a niche for yourself. So I've not finished reading the book, but I mean, it's something I am committed to ensuring that I read up, and I believe that it's going to be a big value added. Thank you.
Let's clarify, because she made mention of certain points that it only comes from in-depth reading and actually paying attention. And it reminded me of so many other things as well. Is it that particular point you made on the chef that was launching a book and that was doing a book launch and every other thing it was screaming another thing? It was so
Mhm.
spot on. She even mentioned, she also mentioned the part of like how people be uploading pictures of themselves with celebrities that does not even have any connection with the brand. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so you saw Chris Brown. How does that link? If you cannot link Chris Brown to your brand, then you don't need to bother talking about it. So I think that point, and in fact, as we were talking, I just kept remembering, how there are some Nigerian adverts that you see, and when they are
Mm.
done, you're like, okay, how does this relate to your brand exactly?
Exactly.
Even music videos, you see it is okay. What people are singing and what people are performing now, what's not the
And
correlation, you know? And I think that also teaches you that in the brand you are building. And I think there was a video I was watching recently. She was talking about brand, and she was like, she's so intentional about every aspect of what they do, even in the way they plan the events around her brand. So she says, even to address it, she said that so a brand is around empowering women. So there are some values that they have, like they want there to be a coolness, to be a softness to the air. So the way she dresses had to change. She wears like she wears certain colors because of it. She does certain hairstyles because of it. And even that's one of the things that's particular about Kalari's brand. Kalari's position as a C-suite executive, right? The way she dresses, her haircut, her everything shows that this is who Calaris is. And it's also something that we can also learn. And just as a last part to that particular part, there was a particular video I was watching recently, and it was talking about the iPhone. And it said that if you know how much iPhone spends on package, like the packaging of your iPhone, is almost like it's crazy amounts they spend on getting the design for that phone. So they focused even on the amount of time it takes for you to unbox the iPhone. It's part of what they are intentional about. So your iPhone package, that it's like two boxes put together. The amount of time it takes for the down one to slide out of the upper one, they pay attention to that and they spent money to try to get it right. And I remember
my
um,
I hate this. Just pack it.
when I was reading Elon Musk book as well, they spoke about the fact that he spent so much time to get just the design part of Tesla, just to pass a message across to the buyer. Just how much people do for their brand. Like they are that obsessive when it comes to ensuring that they said even the four corner of that iPhone package, they spent so much to ensure that it's four corner, like to get that four corner that you see. So that's the intentionality of branding. Jen, when talking about expert, I remember that she also said something. She said that being an expert is about having an opinion and having a position, and you stick to your position. So when you're an expert, you're not supposed to be part of the people that are always changing their mouth. So when they call you an expert, you always have a side you lean towards, right? That's why you're an expert. So you should not be scared to have an opinion. For example, and very interestingly lately, people always say I'm always calling out the bullshit of MBA, right? And it's been a personal thing for me because I don't like the way certain things are done. And I didn't even know, it's just a conversation I've been having amongst some of my closest friends. It's just now I want to maybe take it to social media a bit, just to, it's not a call on MBA, it's just to say lawyers can be more business savvy. But just in my little space of doing it, I realize that anytime there's a question around things that MBA is doing, I'm always like people just tag me and say, Bisola is going to come and Bisola is going to say this. They are predicting my actions already, and that's what an expert is. You have an opinion, you stick to it, you're able to defend your opinion. And you should not be scared to have one. So, for example, if you're an expert in sexual violence matter, usually maybe you tend to you tend to lean towards the side that the victim should be more protected. In your conversation should center around that. So you can't say because there's a social media pressure, you start bending and shifting, then you become a two-sided person and people lose credibility for you. There's also a book I'll recommend on that. There's a book I'm currently trying to read, call it The Death of Experts, right? And the fact that people don't treat experts the way they used to once treat them, and you know how to get back to that place where experts are respected because of the way they position and all of that. So that's just the addition that I have to at a new case this thing. And thank you. Your conversation opened so many things that I've even forgotten when I was jotting down as we were talking as well. I think that it's essential that we keep having this kind of conversation around books that we read. Has anybody found it useful? Like, if you have found it useful, just wave your hand. Let me see your hands up. You found tonight useful. Like beyond the conversation that we have every day in the book club. Thank you. And yes, there are some of my special friends here. I must recognize them. Please, let's clap for these people that joined. They are not a part of our book club, but we said that for our monthly reviews, we want to add a lot of other people to join. We don't want to limit it to ourselves. We want to share our knowledge, right? And if they are convinced enough, they can always join us. If you're not convinced, no pressure. It's just also a way of ensuring that we're not just gatekeeping our knowledge, because when you share it, you're able to retain it more, right? Shayo, for the new people that are joining us, because a lot of them are not here tonight, we have to find another time to onboard them properly. And it doesn't have to involve the larger house, just bringing them into the group and moving on to our next book. So we should start reading our next book maybe by 5th of March, or maybe, I don't know, Monday might be too early because February is quite short. So we can start maybe by 5th of March. We need to read something very light. This book was quite intense, so that people can catch up and things like that. Just on the book club side, I know we said we wanted to have an hangout. I'll be a hangout then early this year, but I don't see it working out because it seems like everybody's, I don't know, maybe we can still do first quarter. Let's see how much goes, but we can prepare for it. But definitely we'll have one at the end of the year. Then our outreach, we can start working towards it as well. Then share your, we need to redo our playbook, our club playbook, because a lot has changed since when we started initially. We need to revisit it and revamp it, and even do a little bit of shuffling in our executive and things like that. But we'll discuss personally. All right, thanks everybody for joining. I appreciate it. And I think I mean, hopefully Google, I did a recording, so maybe we'll be able to share info that are not here. Thank you so much. Before we